Yo, we're live. We're live in effect, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, so we're going to start off with this video from Luke Smith. I've introduced you guys to Luke Smith in the past. This is from 2 years ago. AI will make, has made the internet mediocre. This was something he was talking about 2 years ago when a lot of this all really took off. I think it is going to be valuable to reflect on this. So let's do it together.
This past year or so has really been the year of the, I guess, ascendant AI. So AI generators are taking over a lot of the internet, and people are using them mostly for their own entertainment right now.
By the way, doesn't that feel like a world ago, like a lifetime ago, to anybody who's actually been in the AI space since the beginning of it? Feels like such a long time ago.
But you can input text and it will generate an image based on that. And they're actually, sometimes they're really bad, sometimes they're incredibly good.
It's been so long for me that my youngest child, she was just born around that time. And now I have two more children on the way. It's kind
of. And I know there's this recent one, what is it, like the GPT thing, which will create very complicated stories and all this kind of stuff. Very impressive stuff. Like AI looks pretty impressive. And now I want to go ahead and make a prediction. And that is, firstly, well, I will say this. Maybe I'll touch on this later in the video. But I think that AI and its ability to like solve problems or be useful is definitely like way over exaggerated. AI does well things that people are impressed by, like generating art, but that art is not necessarily always something coherent or something, you couldn't necessarily use an AI to make a concise decision like landing planes in like highly complex domains or something like that, right? So it's impressive.
It hallucinates a lot, and you don't want it, well, not necessarily a lot, but enough to make it dangerous to use at scale for really important things.
But it's not necessarily, you can't build.
Even for a business owner, potentially, depending, there's a lot of ways to do it.
You're wordled on it. So last year, let me just say this, I made kind of a prescient video where I said something like search engines are basically dead now. They're basically useless. And the reason I said that, and this is like 100% true, is all search engine results that you now get are basically AI generated. Now, of course, these AIs are not like hyper intelligent creatures that are answering your every question. They're actually hyper non-intelligent creatures that are really just trying to get.
You see that? They're not intelligent. I don't think that it's like super intelligent. If intelligent at all, like truly intelligent. What we were talking about yesterday, if you recall, was the history of ideas from the very early days of human to present day, about 20th century rather, for AI, how the idea of artificial beings came to be and how it used to be thought of. With that, you'd notice that in the age of belief, or artificial beings, as they called them, not necessarily what they, anyway, they were created by gods, and they were imbued a touch of divinity. Then you move forward to Descartes, and Descartes was saying that the machine will never be, sorry, somebody honked outside that threw me all off, that the machine will never have true reason. It'll reason, but never have true reason.
Get your clicks, right? So this is something you've probably seen. You might not have even noticed it. But let me just randomly, a couple weeks ago, I was at the store, right? Hardware store, and I wanted to figure out, okay, what kind of nails, like what length of nails, what number nail do I need, or screws, excuse me. What number screw and like what type of screw do I need to screw into this kind of wood, right? Or what's the best kind to get long term? So I remember looking that up on my phone. I didn't do it before I left, but I ended up doing it at the location. And, of course, every single result I get, what is it? It's all AI generated results, right? It's all stuff like screws are very important for doing woodworking. And you can use many types of screws. There are different lengths and blah, blah, blah. And that is like every single result, right? So it's nothing. You can put questions into search engines nowadays. And the results that you're going to get are basically these AI results that are just kind of word associated.
Let's see. Let's test it out real quick. Okay, we'll share the screen. What is the best screw to use for drywall? Okay. So, I mean, it's better than what it was back then, right?
Association games, even if like the title of the article is a specific question, it will not answer that question in the article. That's how these articles work, right? And more than that, like usually they're just putting words out there, right? So the thing is, there's this theory out there that people often quote, and it's very true, and it's called the dead internet theory. Okay, people have been talking about this for years, but it's definitely becoming true now. And that is the internet. I mean, the internet really is dead. Like back, I've talked often about like back in the 90s.
This is the dead internet theory. Basically, just a running theory that more people on the internet than you think are bots, to the point where the majority of your online interactions are with bots, not real humans. So the dead internet theory is a conspiracy theory that the internet died years ago, somewhere in 2016 or 2017 is the alleged date. And the vast majority of activity today is automated activity manipulated by an algorithm for the purpose of manipulating the population of the world for insert reason. So whatever reason. This is the kind of thing that starts as a joke or thought experiment and then somehow evolves into people actually believing it. What makes ideas like this particularly sinister and sticky is that they are at least somewhat based in fact. There are bots on the internet, there are algorithms, there are attempting to optimize content and results for a purpose. However, it does not hold that because those things exist, that the entire internet is only those things. Or hey, maybe I am just a large model so advanced that I sound like a normal person talking to you. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, huh? So, hang on. This is stupid. However, it does not hold that because those things exist that the entire internet is only those things. That was never the point. Whoever. I was just saying she, intuitively. But the vast majority of activity, not all, not the entire, the vast majority of activity. I'm not sure why you would consider it a conspiracy theory when a new report reveals that in 2022, 47.4% of the internet came from bots, a 5.1% increase over the year. The same report showed that human traffic at 52.6% decreased to its lowest level in 8 years, according to this. 47% of all internet traffic came from bots in 2022. Security. They must be some kind of like industry specific magazine. The annual Bad Bot Report. Okay. So this week, Impervia released its 10th annual Bad Bot Report, a global analysis of automated bot traffic across the internet. Get away from me. The annual report provides security and business leaders with information about the evolution of bot technologies and automated traffic. This year's report also documents milestones in the evolution of bad bot technology. For the fourth consecutive year, the volume of bad bot traffic, malicious automated software applications capable of high-speed abuse, misuse, and attacks grew to 30.2%, a 2.5% increase over 2021. Other report highlights include in 2022, the proportion of bad bots classified as advanced accounted for 51.2% of all bad bot traffic. In comparison, the level of bad bot sophistication in 2021 was 25.9%. Account takeover attacks increased 155% in 2022 and 15% of all login attempts in the past 12 months across all industries were classified as account takeover. In 2022, 17% of all attacks on IP and APIs came from bad bots abusing business logic. In addition, 35% of account takeover attacks in 2022 specifically targeted an API. Travel 24.7%, retail 21%, and financial services 12.7% experienced the highest volume of bot attacks. Gaming 58.7%, and telecommunications 47.7% had the highest proportion of bad bot traffic on their website and application. This makes sense. Travel, retail, financial services. There's money in financial services. There's like independent brokerage, retail. Yeah, like obviously travel, obviously. Of the countries analyzed in the part while the U.S. also exceeded the average of 32.1%. That's pretty wild, huh? 1 in 5 bad bots used mobile Safari as their browser of choice in 2022, up from 16.1% in 2021. Wow. That's wild. How old is this article? This is from 2 years ago. I wonder if there's an update on this. Guess we can go here, right? So this is from the actual report itself. But let's see what it is now, if I can even, get access to it. I might not be able to. It might be pretty exclusive. Not necessarily. It could just be like industry exclusive. Well, I want to see their annual reports. So it looks like I can get the report, which I should probably download. I'll download. Here's the new one. Oh, we can watch it.
In 2024, automated traffic overtook human activity online, making up 51% of all web traffic. This tipping.
Whoa, you guys see that? So this is true. This theory is true. This person was wrong. I got very massive feminine energies from the text because of this. I don't know why, but this just told me. Anyway, it says the theory that the internet died years ago, somewhere in 2016 or 17, is the alleged date. In the vast majority, maybe that was the inception of bots. I don't know. I'd have to look into this. But I don't know why they say 2016. I guess I can look into that some more. But regardless, it is true based on the 2025 Bad Bot report from Imperva. I think that's how you pronounce her name, Imperva. They found that automated traffic, which would be bots, is now up to 51%. So that's 2024. So this is 2024. Remember, in 2022, it was 30.2%. 30.2% was the average. Now it is 51% as of last year. Oh, sorry. Correction. 30.2% in 2022. And now it's 37%, I believe they said. 37%. That's interesting, huh? Let's get the report. Can I get it? I'm the boss. Give me that report. Give me that report. Give me that report. Give me that report. Oh, I just got the 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 report. I just got the report. All right. Executive summary. The role of AI in bot attacks. The rise in the number of accessible AI tools has significantly lowered the barrier for entry for cyber attackers, enabling them to create and deploy malicious bots at scale. With generative AI simplifying tool bot development, automated threats are evolving rapidly, becoming more sophisticated, invasive, and widespread, fueling the growth of both simple and advanced bad bots. Attackers now use AI not only to generate bots, but also to analyze failed attempts and refine their technologies to bypass detection with greater efficiency. The resulting emergence of more sophisticated, evasive bad bots put businesses at greater risk than ever before. As automated traffic volume increases, security teams must adapt their approach to application security, facing increasing pressure to counter an evolving threat landscape in which bots are gaining the upper hand. Automated traffic surpasses human traffic. For the first time in a decade, automated traffic surpassed human activity, accounting for 51% of all web traffic in 2024. This was largely divided by the rapid adoption of AI and large language models, which have made bot creation more accessible and scalable. At the same time, bad bot activity has risen from the sixth consecutive year, with malicious bots are now making up 37% of all internet traffic, a sharp increase from 22% in 2023. It's a 5% increase. And it's been going up for 6 consecutive years. It's having a compounding effect. So bad bots, 37%, humans, 49%, good bots, whatever they categorize as a good bot, 14%. How they determine what is good and bad, that's an interesting question, because that is going to play a role in how we develop these AIs over time, their ethics. How do we label a good bot or a bad bot? What is the ethics behind a good or bad bot? The chart below illustrates the steady rise of bad bots as a percentage of total web traffic over the years. In 2015, bad bots accounted for just 19% of all bot traffic. Growth spiked in 2019, largely influenced by unprecedented online usage during the COVID-19 pandemic, a trend that has continued with bad bot traffic reaching 7%. So, right, this is human, and the human was at its highest 2019, 2018, 20. It's never dropped below 40 or 50%. It's never dropped lower than 50. Actually, yeah, 50%. It's never dropped lower than that. From 2022 to 2015, it never dropped lower than 50%. Now it's at 49% as of 2024. And it was just at 63%, its all-time high in 2019. These good bots, allegedly, they only existed in 2015. Not really, I'm exaggerating, but 27% in 2015 was the highest they were, and it never got that high again. It went down precipitously to 19% in 2016. Then it went up to 2017 to 20%. 2018, for some reason, during COVID, they dropped significantly. So 18% in 2018, 13% in 2019, 15% in 2020, 2021 it was 15%, and then it rose to 17%, 18%. But now in 2024, it's at 14%, and its lowest was 13% in 2019. And in 2024, it's 14%. The only one that is on the rise are bad bots. For some reason, they have them in green and the good bots in red, which I find fascinating. I think we go back to street lights. I know I sound schizophrenic. Street lights. Let me show you something real quick. But that is fascinating. You'll see why I say that. I think that there's like a really deep psychology to colors and how we view them in the subconscious in a way. I have nothing to no scientific studies to prove that. I think these are just inferences I'm making myself. But look at this. Street light colors. Okay. So you got white, yellow, sometimes even blue. Let's see. Stop. Colors. Okay. So you'll see my, schizophrenic connection here. So you ready? Red. Stop signs have red. They have red. That means stop. You stop. Then get this. The green means go. When you race, what do? You stop on red. When you see green when you race, you go. Red is usually associated with the devil. Red, devil. See? And then we look up green. Green, God. See? God, green. I'm just kidding. All right, but anyway, getting back to this, no, I do think that there's something here. Seriously, though. Let's see, I'll find it. Give me a second here. Also, side note, you see like the adjacent are the off branch of like these main industries, what they create. Like it's a whole industry. It has an infrastructure and making stop signs. Crazy because of this. Red means danger and green means safety. See? I'm not crazy here. Red means danger. Get out of here, Samsung. I don't know where he's getting this from, but he's right. Or she. Sounds like a man because he's right. Anyway, we go back to this. We see Red, bad, danger. Green, good, safety. But why are they green here and red here? Huh? Interesting. So it's not that traffic engineers and safety officials settled on a red to convey the need for drivers to stop. According to multiple studies, red triggers. No, dude. See let me show you. Okay. So that's just good to see, right? The go light used to be red. I'm pretty sure. In the early days, red was used to signify stop. White, okay. Dang, I just get proven wrong every time. But there's something there. There is something there. I'm telling you. Because there's like red and blood. And that may like you can then see why you would support, okay, red, blood, bad, danger, hurt, pain, blood. Don't want to see blood. But what about if you're hunting? Then you do. And if you do, you're eating, you're surviving, you're living. Your family is fed for the night. Especially if you're a nomadic tribal person, back in antiquity. Red wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Survival. Green, we're not going to go and pick off a bunch of leaves and eat them. We want to see red. Even our fruit. The juices, right? That's not to say that we don't eat green things. I'm not saying that. Hopefully you didn't think that. But there is a stark difference. Usually green is like associated with vomit. You see those green juices? Nobody wants to eat a drink. Nobody wants to drink a green juice. It's kind of acid. Anyway, yeah, good and bad. Going back to this. The sharp rise in bot traffic is alarming, and with the emergence of AI, raises questions about how we can stem the flow of bot traffic to protect businesses and maintain fair markets. Bot attack sophistication trends. So over here we got bot sophistication in 2024, advanced, 44%. Simple, 45%. Moderate, 11%. It's like a bell curve, huh? In 2024, advanced and moderate bot attacks accounted for 55%. In 2024, advanced and moderate bot attacks accounted for 55% of all bot attacks. The attackers increasingly employ sophisticated technologies to emulate human traffic and carry out malicious activities, making these attacks harder to detect and mitigate. However, there has been a significant shift in the dynamics of bot attack sophistication. Simple, high-volume bot attacks have grown substantially, now comprising. Can't fucking read now. Anyway. Now comprising 45% of all bot attacks, up from 40% in 2023. This rise can be attributed to the increasing accessibility of AI-powered automation tools, which allow attackers with less technical expertise to launch bot attacks easily. Zero WASP, OWASP, automated threat account for almost a third of all attacks. In the past year, 31% of all attacks recorded and mitigated by Imperva were automated threats as defined by the OWASP. The OWASP-2 automated threats are a set of automated cyber attacks that leverage bots and scripts to exploit web application vulnerabilities at scale, bypass security controls, and disrupt business across various industries, and represent some of the most common and critical vulnerabilities facing web applications. Their widespread nature and the ease with which attackers exploit them make them a primary concern for any organization's security strategy. A deeper look into the attack types reveals that 25% of mitigated attacks were sophisticated bad bots, specifically targeting and abusing business logic. It's interesting. Why modern APIs must defend against bad bots. In 2024, the Imperva Threat Research Team observed a significant surge in API-directed attacks, with 44% of advanced bot traffics targeting APIs. This report includes a section dedicated to API security, which looks into how bad bot targeting API business logic are a major threat to businesses, and how protecting APIs is not just a security measure, but safeguarding the foundation of your digital ecosystem. Residential proxies remain a preferred evasion tactic. By leveraging residential proxies, bad bots can mimic legitimate traffic from the residential address, making detection more challenging. In fact, 21% of all bot attacks using internet service providers were conducted through residential proxies, a key evasive tactic commonly employed by advanced hackers. Account takeover attacks. The number of account takeover attacks has increased significantly, raising by 40% since the last year, by 54% since 2022. This surge is likely driven by cyber criminals using AI and machine learning to automate credential stuffing and brute force attacks, making them more sophisticated and harder to detect. Crypto bros, protect your wallets, dog. Protect them. Don't hold them on the internet. Don't do any of that stuff. Take major precautions. Also, you should probably do that anyway if you're in crypto with the crazy shit going on. I know they're kind of one-off events, but things like that could happen, and more than likely it's somebody you know, and not good, not good, not good. 25% of mitigated attacks were sophisticated bad bots, specifically targeting and abusing business logic. So key findings: 51% of automated internet traffic, 44% of advanced bot attacks targeting APIs, 37% amount of internet traffic made up of bad bots, 55% surge in API data leakage and API violations in 2024. Amount of internet traffic made up of good bots, 55% proportion of advanced or moderate bot attacks in 2024, 45% proportion of simple bot attacks in 2024, 25% of bot attacks targeting business logic, 19% account takeover attacks targeting APIs, 46% bot attacks using Chrome to appear as legitimate traffic, 14% all logins that were account takeover attempts, 31% account attacks that were OWASP automated threats, 2 million daily average number of AI enabled attacks, 27% of bot attacks targeting the travel industry, 13 trillion number of bot requests blocked by Imperva, 2024. Percentage growth of account takeover attacks in 2024. Bot attacks exploit API business logic. Businesses are increasingly relying on APIs driven by the rapid expansion of digital transformation, AI-powered automation, and the growing demand for seamless integration across platforms. APIs are the backbone of modern application, enabling businesses to connect services, streamline operations, and deliver personalized customer experiences at scale. They power everything from payment processing, supply chain management, to AI-driven analytics and third-party integrations, making them essential for agility, innovation, and competitive advantage. As organizations continue to adopt cloud-based services and microservices architectures, APIs provide the critical infrastructure needed to enhance efficiency, accelerate product development, and unlock new revenue streams. The power behind API is its business logic, the rules and processes that dedicate how its functions interact with data and facilitates critical business operations. APIs enable automation, real-time decision-making, and seamless integration, making them indispensable to modern businesses. However, this very functionality also makes them a prime target for bad bots, which manipulate API logic to commit fraud, scrape data, bypass security controls. Bad bots are no longer just overwhelming API endpoints. They are evolving to exploit the business logic that underpins these systems. Attackers deploy bots to target vulnerabilities in API workflows, automating payment fraud, account hijacking, and data exfiltration. Because API business logic is unique to each organization, traditional security measures rely on known attack signatures often fail. This allows bots to mimic legitimate user behavior and evade detection. Attackers aren't merely testing vulnerabilities, they're automating large-scale fraud that drains revenue, erodes customer trust, and imposes steep financial losses, regulatory penalties, and reputational damage. The following analysis from the Imperva threat research team highlights how bad bots target APIs, the top industries at risk, the techniques and tactics used, and emerging attack vectors shaping the threat landscape. It's pretty wild, huh? That's crazy. Automated fraud. API versus web application. In 2024, the Imperva threat research team observed a significant surge in API-directed attacks, with 44% of advanced bot traffic targeting APIs compared to just 10% targeting web applications. This highlights a deliberate shift by attackers towards API endpoints that handle sensitive and high-value data. Top targeted industries for bot attacks on APIs. Financial services, telecom, healthcare, and retail are among the top 10 most targeted industries for bot attacks on APIs. These sectors depend on APIs for critical operations and sensitive transactions, making them prime targets for sophisticated bot attacks. Can you guess what number one is, making up 40% of top targeted industries for APIs? Financial services. Business, number two at 24%. Telecom and IPS, which is internet service providers, they are 7%. Healthcare, 6%. Lifestyle, 4%. Education, 3%. Retail, 3%. Computing and IT, 3%. Society, whatever that means, 2%. Travel, 2%. Other, 6%. So financial services and business. API attack techniques and tactics. Our analysis of 2024 API bot attacks revealed a multifaceted threat landscape where adversaries employ a range of tactics to exploit API vulnerabilities. Percentage of API attacks by attack type. Number one, scraping at 31%. Payment fraud is number two at 26%. ATO, account takeover, 12%. Scalping, not quite sure what that is, 11%. User detail harvesting, 6%. File upload and RCE, not sure what that means, 4%. Gift card fraud, 4%. Session hijacking, not quite sure what that means, but 2%. Carding, not sure what that means, but 1%. Coupon guessing, interesting, 1%. Administrative interference access, 1%. Sensitive data access, 1%. So the bulk of it comes from scraping and payment fraud. And account takeover is a small majority. So we got financial services and businesses, which we have scraping for the business, probably scraping for the financial institutions, and then the payment fraud. So that makes sense that those are the two most used techniques and tactics because their industries they're targeting are financial and business. And then you have account takeover. So account takeover could go into there still. These ones must be more specific to these other industries, right? Data scraping, 31% of API attacks. Bots extract vast amounts of data by exploiting APIs that expose sensitive or proprietary information. This method is favored because it enables attackers to automate the collection of valuable data sets, such as user details, product information, and internal metrics with minimal resistance. The high volume of data scraping not only facilitates further criminal activities, but could also provide competitive intelligence. 11%, scalping. API attacks. Scalping attacks, accounting for approximately 11%, involve bots repeatedly purchasing or receiving large volumes of high-demand items or services. This tactic not only disrupts fair customer access, but also undermines market dynamics by allowing attackers to resell these items at inflated prices. The addition to these primary techniques our report also highlights other methods such as gift card fraud, remote code execution, and session hijacking. The common denominator across all these tactics is the exploitation of inherent API vulnerabilities ranging from misconfiguration and insufficient rate limiting to weak authentication protocols. Interesting. Retail. Remember, retail was in one of these, but that retail falls under business. Good for retail. Good for retail. Travel as well, right? Payment fraud. 26% of API attacks. Targeting financial transaction endpoints, attackers manipulate payment processes to commit fraud, representing roughly 26% of attacks. This technique involves exploiting vulnerabilities in checkout systems to trigger unauthorized transactions or abuse promotional mechanisms. The immediate financial impact combined with the erosion of customer trust makes payment fraud a highly attractive target for bad bots. Endpoint-specific bot attacks. The chart below indicates that bad bots strategically target API endpoints that handle high volume and sensitive operation. Here's a detailed analysis of the observed trend and the probable reasons behind. Give me a second. My grandmother messaged me on iMessage. Not iMessage, Messenger. She was just wishing me a happy Father's Day. How kind of her. Okay. I'm about to get back into it in a second. All right. Endpoint-specific bot attacks. The chart. Okay, we already read that. So, percentage of API attacks by endpoint. Data access 37. Checkout 32%. Authentication 16. Product 11. Admin 4. Account takeover 12% of API attacks, comprising around 12% of attack landscape. Account takeovers leverage stolen or brute force credentials to gain unauthorized access to user accounts. Once in control, attackers can access sensitive personal and transactional data, often leading to broader security breaches and further exploitation. 37% data. Data access endpoints, 37% of API attacks. These endpoints, are responsible for retrieving sensitive or proprietary information, making them a goldmine for attackers. The high attack rate of approximately 37% suggests that adversaries are heavily invested in scraping and exfiltrating data. Such data can fuel further criminal activities or serve as competitive intelligence. The attractiveness of data access endpoints stems from the sheer volume and sensitivity of the information they control, often with less stringent security measures compared to transactional endpoints. To counter this, security professionals should enhance monitoring, enforce strict access controls, and deploy anomaly detection systems to flag unused data retrieval patterns. Authentication endpoints, 16% of API attacks. Authentication endpoints, which facilitate identity verification and access control, account for 16% of API bot attacks. These endpoints are targeted to bypass multi-factor authentication, abuse token-based authentication, manipulated session handling, given that they serve as the first line of defense in securing user access. Any compromise here can lead to account takeovers and broader breaches. Strengthening these endpoints with robust dynamic authentication and protocols and regular audits is crucial to mitigate the risk of unauthorized access. Overall, the focus on data access, checkout, and authentication endpoints reflect a calculated strategy by attackers to exploit the critical and vulnerable areas of API infrastructure. 32% checkout endpoints of API attacks. Critical for processing financial transactions, checkout points face around 32% of all API attacks. These endpoints are a prime target because any disruption here directly impacts revenue and customer trust. Attackers exploit vulnerabilities to manipulate payment processes, commit fraud, or abuse business logic, leading to unauthorized financial activities. The significant focus on checkout processes underscores the need for robust transaction security, including real-time monitoring, layered authentication, and proactive fraud detection measures. Ooh, I just thought about something. Give me a second here. Let me do this real quick. I gotta do this really quick. Give me a second. That's not what I want. Wow. There we go. Just make sure this is right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I'm at peace now, baby. All right. I'm not sure if we read all of that yet. 32% of API attacks critical for processing financial transactions. Checkout endpoints face around 32% of all API attacks. These endpoints are a prime target because of any disruption here directly impacts revenue and customer trust. Attackers exploit vulnerabilities to manipulate payment processes, commit fraud, or abuse business logic, leading to unauthorized financial activities. The significant focus on checkpoint processes underscores the need for robust transaction security, including real-time monitoring, layered authentication, and proactive fraud detection. New exploitation methods beyond traditional tactics, bad bots are now exploiting API vulnerabilities via misconfigured third-party integration and parameter tampering. These emerging methods enable attackers to bypass established security measures more effectively. So guys in the AI space with these agencies, please be mindful to that right there, huh? Want to protect these business owners that we're trying to help out, get into the space. Gotta keep them in mind. Because they're at risk, potentially, if you misconfigure. Somebody misconfigures, whoever misconfigures. The emergence of API or AI-powered attacks. In 2024, we witnessed the growing use of AI-enabled tools in cyber attacks. Notably, Imperva blocked an average 2 million AI-powered cyber attacks every day. AI tools such as ChatGPT, ByteSpider, Bot, ClaudeBot, Google Gemini, Perplexity AI, Cohere AI, Applebot, and more are revolutionizing how users interact with their favorite brands, how students learn, how employees perform tasks and create content more quickly than ever before. However, these tools are also being used as a new attack vector. In an analysis of AI tools, the Imperva threat research team found that most of the widely used AI tools currently in circulation are being used for cyber attacks. The distribution of bot attacks across the AI tools analyzed varied significantly. As shown in the chart below, BotSpider bot was responsible for 54% of all AI-enabled attacks, followed by Applebot at 26%. ClaudeBot accounted for 13%, while ChatGPT's bot user contributed to 6%. BotSpider dominance in AI-enabled attacks can largely be attributed to its widespread recognition as a legitimate web crawler, making it an ideal candidate for spoofing. Cyber criminals frequently disguise their malicious bots as web crawlers to evade detection and bypass security measures that whitelist known website or known web crawlers. In contrast, Applebot 26% and ClaudeBot 13% are used less frequently, likely due to stricter security controls or less favorable spoofing potential. So here we have, as I already stated, 54% coming from SpiderBot, Applebot 26%, ClaudeBot 13%, ChatGPT 6%, ImageFitBot something like that, 1%. Fluctuation in attack volumes throughout the year suggests that attackers are still in an experimental phase, refining their tactics to maximize the effectiveness of these emerging tools. As adversaries continue to adopt, we anticipate this attack vector will expand in the coming years, fueling a rise in automated threats. So 300 million the first of the year, 2024. It's gone down a lot. Up, up, down, down, up, down. So it comes in waves. Oh, but this is only over the days. This is only from January 1st to January 22nd of 2024. AI is enabling attackers to execute a wide range of cyber threats, including DDoS attacks, custom rules exploitation, and API violations. While API violations can involve automated bot activity, they also include broader abuse scenarios such as unauthorized access attempts and exploitation of misconfiguration. However, bot-driven attacks in particular are becoming more sophisticated and harder to detect. In 2024, bad bots accounted for over 16% of all AI-enabled attacks. When combined with business logic attacks, which use automation for stealthy, low, and slow reconnaissance, this number rises to 41%. This trend highlights how attackers are leveraging AI to refine their techniques, particularly in identifying and exploiting API vulnerabilities to extract sensitive data. As AI capabilities advance, defending against business logic abuse will become even more challenging. Custom rules 48%, business logic 25%, bad bot 16%, API violation 6%, DDoS 3%, 2% is other, whatever that is. Bot evasion tactics. As bots become more sophisticated and mimic human behavior, security teams face increasing challenges in differentiating between automated threats and real users. Additionally, with growing concerns around data privacy, bot operators increasingly use VPNs and obfuscation techniques to blend into legitimate human traffic and avoid being flagged as automated threats. Based on insights from Impervia's dedicated bot-focused security analyst and the Impervia threat research team, Imperva. Following list highlights the latest evasion tactics and techniques employed by bot attackers in 2024. Fake browser identity and attributes. Many bad bots fake their browser identity to appear as a legitimate browser, e.g., Chrome, Firefox. This is an example but effective way. This is a simple but effective way to evade basic security measures. More advanced bots will also fake other browser attributes such as headers, JavaScript execution to avoid detection by advanced bot mitigation tools. Residential proxies. Attackers use residential IPs to evade detection and blend in with normal traffic. Residential proxies allow attackers to route malicious traffic through real user devices, making it harder to detect and block them based on IP reputation alone, while the use of residential ISPs for bot attacks decreased highly from 26% of all bot attacks where traffic was routed via an ISP in 2023 to 21% in 2024. It remains a favorite tactic due to its effectiveness in mimicking legitimate users. Privacy tools, services like iCloud Private Relay Mask, user identities, increasing the challenges of distinguishing between legitimate human traffic and automated bad activity. API abuse. Attackers exploit exposed or unprotected APIs to extract data. Automated attacks and bypass front-end security controls. App cracking. Bots target outdated mobile applications that do not enforce mandatory updates, making them vulnerable to reverse engineer credential stuffing and unauthorized modifications. Consistent token generation. Bad bots. Bots generate consistent tokens, reducing the chances of triggering anti-bot protection during post-back processes. Polymorphic bots, self-learning bots dynamically can change attributes to evade detection by patching CAPTCHA. AI-driven bots solve CAPTCHA challenges with high accuracy, rendering many traditional defenses ineffective. Property cycling, AI enables rapid switching of IP addresses, user agents, or browser parameters to evade detection. Bots as a service, a growing ecosystem of commercialized bot services is driving an unprecedented surge in automated threats across industries. AI-assisted scripting, AI-generated bot scripts increase attack volumes and automation efficiencies. Content scraping and anti-detect browsers. Content scraping services such as browser.ai enable large-scale data extractions, while anti-detection browsers like multi-login, go login, and ads power helps evade security measures. Browser impersonation by bad bots. In their quest to continue, undetected bad bots disguise themselves as popular web or mobile browsers typically used by humans. This is accomplished through browser automation tools. While this was once considered an advanced method of evasion, it has since become a standard approach for many bad bots over the years. The browsers favored by these bots have shifted in line with changing human user preferences and evolving strategies to stay under the radar. For instance, Internet Explorer, once widely used by both legitimate users and bad bots, has largely fallen out of favor in recent years. Chrome remains the top browser that attackers impersonate, as it has done for the last 10 years, accounting for 46% of all bad bot attacks in 2024. The percentage of attackers where bots declare themselves as Chrome increased from 40 to 46% in 2024, yet they were nowhere to be seen for the AI tools that were being used in these bad bot attacks either. Interesting, right? Like it goes, ChatGPT was one of the lowest at 6%. Byte Spider bot was 56% or something. And then Claude bot was higher. It was like 13%. Then you had ChatGPT, which was like 6%. And then you had some other one called like ImageFit bot, something like that. It was 1%. Gemini wasn't in there at all. Yet Chrome, I'm not sure why this is, but Chrome is 46%. It could just be because of the amount of users. And maybe there's more users, but I don't think that there's more users on Byte Spider bot. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, but I don't even know if that. Anyway, just throwing it out there. It's quite interesting. Attackers often choose to impersonate Chrome for several legitimate reasons. Widespread usage. Chrome is the most popular browser globally used by a significant majority of internet users. By mimicking Chrome, attackers increase the likelihood that their bot traffic will blend in with legitimate user activity, reducing the chances of detection by security systems. Common whitelisting. Many websites and security systems whitelist traffic from well-known browsers like Chrome, assuming it is legitimate. Since Chrome is widely trusted, bad bots can bypass basic bot mitigation systems that may not scrutinize requests from recognized browsers. Advanced capabilities. Chrome supports a wide range of modern web technologies such as JavaScript and HTML5, which many websites rely on. By impersonating Chrome, attackers can exploit these features to navigate more complex sites, interact with dynamic content, and carry out more sophisticated attacks like credential stuffing or scraping without raising suspicion. Mobile Safari is the second most mimicked browser, accounting for 17% of attacks. Being the default browser on Apple devices, including iPhones and iPads, which have a significant global user base. By mimicking mobile Safari, attackers can target a large segment of mobile web traffic. For many of the same reasons, mobile Chrome is the third most popular choice for attackers, remaining close to mobile Safari at a steady 14% year over year. So let's go through all of them right now. So we got number one, as we know, Chrome, 46%. Mobile Safari, 17%. Mobile Chrome, 14%. So Google's in the top one. It's like number one and number three. Safari, Apple is number two. Also consider this. Apple's bot was one of the top three most used bots with AI to facilitate bad actors. Yeah, Gemini isn't in the mix. When did Gemini come out? (2023). Okay, so that's interesting stuff. Account takeover attacks. Account takeover attacks use malicious bots to gain unauthorized access and take over online user accounts through credential stuffing and credential cracking. These attacks lead to digital identity theft and financial losses for targeted organizations. ATO attacks are among the most significant cybersecurity challenges facing digital businesses today. A successful attack can result in financial loss, theft of sensitive customer data, misuse of personal information, and reputational damage. The chart below shows the month-by-month growth of ATO attacks over the past 2 years. As the chart shows, ATO grew significantly from June onwards, with the greatest percentage growth in the months of September, October, and November, when ATO attacks increased by 79% each month compared to the same period previous years. That's wild, huh? There is a trend here for sure, right? Because, I mean, look at 2023 and then 2024. Right here. 2024 is just higher than most of 2024 is higher than 2023. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3. So there's only 2 months. 2 months out of the year that 2023 was higher than 2024 in regards to monthly account takeover attacks. And that was January and February, the beginning of the month. And starting in March, there on out, 2024 had seen far more account takeover attacks. I mean, it went from like 250,000 in May to over 350,000 in June, and never dropped back down 300,000. Never dropped back down below 300,000, let alone like 325,000 from June onward. It never dropped below 325,000. Whereas 2023, it only went over 250,000 one time, and that was in May. Below are some possible reasons why ATO attacks increased so significantly from June onwards last year. Seasonal e-commerce and sales events, with major shopping events like Black Friday and holiday sales starting to peak in the second half of the year, attackers target high-value content accounts during these times, contributing to the sharp rise in ATO attempts. Increased data breaches, the rise in compromised credentials from high-profile data breaches has provided attackers with larger databases of stolen login information, making it easier to execute ATO attacks. According to the Identity Theft Resource Center, over 1.7% or 1.7 billion data breaches notice were issued across the United States in 2024, making a 312% increase from the 419 million noticed in 2023. That's fucking wild. More sophisticated attack techniques. Attackers are using more advanced tools such as bots and AI-driven automations to bypass traditional security measures like CAPTCHA and MFA, multi-factor authentication, leading to a surge in successful ATOs, account takeovers. Most targeted industries by account takeover attacks. The chart on the right shows the top 5 most targeted industries for account takeover attacks in 2024, accounting for 78% of all attacks. Top 5 industries account for 78% of all our ATO attacks. So financial services, telecom and ISPs, computing and IT, business, food and beverage. The top targeted industry was financial services, accounting for 22% of all ATO attacks, followed by telecom and ISPs with 18%, and computing and IT with 17%. The financial services industry has always been a prime target for account takeover attacks because of the high value of accounts and the sensitive nature of the data to be obtained. Banks, credit card companies, fintech platforms hold a vast amount of personally identifiable information, PII, including credit card and bank account details, which can be sold for a profit on the dark web. The proliferation of APIs in the industry has expanded the attack surface for cyber criminals who target API vulnerabilities such as weak authentication and authorization methods to conduct account takeover and data theft. The telecom industry is also a top target for account takeover, but motivation that extends beyond financial gain. Wow. While access to sensitive PII and customer data can bring financial reward for attackers, the telecom industry controls critical internet infrastructure, and by compromising an internet service provider or ISP's account or system, attackers can intercept our reroute traffic, man-in-the-middle attacks, deploy malware, or disrupt services in the case of national state actors, which often target telecom organizations for espionage and surveillance in times of geopolitical conflicts. So governments attacking governments, no, spying and shit. You know what that be? We spying up in these bitches. Consequences of account takeovers. A successful account takeover attack that results in a data breach can lead to regulatory penalties, legal costs and compensation claims, reputational damage, long-term financial losses. The severity depends on the nature of the breach and the regulatory environment and the company's response time. Here are examples of regulatory properties or penalties. Regulation, General Data Protection Regulation, fines up to 20 million euro or 4% of global annual takeover for failure to protect personal data. That's wild. Additional penalties for failure to notify authorities within 72 hours. CCPA, California's Consumer Privacy Act, fines up to $2,500 per violation or $7,500 for international intentional violations. Consumer lawsuits for personal data exposure, including class action lawsuits. HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Fines ranging from $100,000 to $50,000 per violation. with a maximum annual penalty of 1.5 million. Severe penalties for exposing protected health information. Bad bots a global problem. So, top 5 most targeted countries worldwide. Number 1, the United States. Why is China not on this list? Brazil, 6. UK, 6. Canada, 5. France, 3. More than half of all bot attacks targeted the United States. The United States remained the top targeted country for bot attacks, accounting for 53% of all attacks in 2024. Brazil and the United Kingdom were joint second, with 6% of all attacks targeting them respectively. The United States boasts the world's largest online economy, with millions of consumer transactions occurring daily. As home to a significant share of global wealth, leading financial institutions, and tech giants, it presents a highly attractive target for cyber attackers seeking lucrative opportunities. So the 5 most targeted countries, EMEA, whatever that is. What is EMEA? Targeted countries in Europe, Middle East, and Asia, Africa. I'm sorry. All right, so it's UK, France, Netherlands, United Arab Emirates, Russia. Okay. Top targeted countries, APAC. In 2024, bot attacks in the Asian Pacific region were heavily concentrated in Hong Kong and Indonesia, with each country accounting for 24% of all bot attacks. Together, they made up nearly half of the region's bot activity. Hong Kong's status as a global financial hub and a gateway to China makes it a prime target for cyber criminals seeking to exploit banking, fintech, and e-commerce platforms. Meanwhile, Indonesia's large and rapidly growing digital economy, combined with relatively weaker cybersecurity infrastructure, has made it particularly vulnerable to bot-driven fraud and central stuffing attacks. Australia followed closely in third place, accounting for 18% of all bot attacks, as one of APAC's most developed economies with a strong financial sector, e-commerce marketing, critical infrastructure. Australia remains a frequent target for cyber criminals using bots to launch credential attacks and automated fraud schemes. The concentration of attacks in these countries underscore the evolving cyber threat landscape in APAC, where economic growth, digital expansion, geopolitical factors continue to shape cybersecurity risk. So Hong Kong's 24%, Indonesia 24%, Australia 18%, Singapore 11%, India 9%. All right, I'm gonna take a little break. I'll be back.
90s, when you went to a site, that was like a personal site, you know what I mean? Run by a person. Nowadays, there's very little interaction with other people online, weirdly enough, right? Any interaction you have with another person is actually through a social media site. Everything else, all the other sites you go to at this point are basically AI generated, right? Or algorithmically generated. I mean, an algorithm is a super simple AI, right? So this is something that's now become like this is our new normal, right? It used to be you could actually use a search engine and get specific results to things. Like that was not a difficult thing to do. But now it is. And now it is. So like there's more stuff on the internet, but it's been so crowded out by like random gibberish that you actually can't get anything from it. So the irony is, and the irony I talked about in that video last year, is like people are getting herded to social media sites just because AIs are taking over the rest of the things, right? Now the irony, there are of course some AIs that are like so good, like I think the Chat GPT thing allegedly is like so good that there are some questions you can actually just ask it and it will give you specific answers. But the issue is more often than not, it's confabulating answers, right? So it's just kind of making things up to respond to your question, not necessarily, you know, it's still making assessments based on word association, not whether or not they're true or not. And frankly, you wouldn't want it making assessments based on what it's true, because then, you know, it's just going to tell you to get like the COVID vax and all this kind of stuff that like, you know, whoever programming it says, oh, we need to bias it in this direction or the other, right? So either way, like looking at an AI for answering questions when it's confabulating answers just to give you an answer, right? That's basically the equivalent of like killing a bird and looking at its entrails for what to do. It quite literally is the equivalent because, you know, there might be some basis in truth, but really you're just getting some kind of answer just to make you more certain about what you're doing. That's about it. Like it's not like a real thing. So I think like people are very impressed by AIs because like because they falsely assume a lot of the times that AIs like have some kind, they actually are intelligences. They actually are like consciousnesses that like know things. The reality about like programming AIs, oh man, overexposed. The reality about programming AIs is like the software that goes into it is actually very simple. The reason, you know, people in AI will often say this, and this is true, like the programming in AI is actually relatively simple compared to, you know, more complicated programs we've had for years. The reason we're only getting AIs now is because we didn't have the computing power for it before, because you have to train it on data and do all this kind of crazy stuff that you need a lot of programming, or excuse me, a processing power for. So really they're just like kind of dumb algorithms that are just looking at massive sets of data and drawing these kind of conclusions. And again, like they do these things, like they're great at like giving kind of impressionistic.
That's whack. I've been stopping and talking, and I wasn't even on there. So whack, man. We'll pick it back up. When he had made the point about the splitting open a bird to see its entrails to get a sign from it, and analogizing that to large language models, ChatGPT, when asking for truth or asking for something, because it's just giving you probabilistic answers based on patterns and words. And the only reason we have it now is because we have this data, simpler code generally. But I made a point saying that, well, yeah, if you're looking for a true answer, I agree. But probably looking at the entrails of a bird would bring you closer to the truth than looking at the inside of the guts of a elephant. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Answers or impressionistic art, frankly. You could get it drawing actually, I'll probably do that in the thumbnail. Draw a picture of Luke Smith walking in the woods, right? And it won't give anything too precise. It might, muddle up my face, or like, it might not know who I am. Some AIs know who I am, some don't. But like, it's one of those things. It depends on what data it's been trained on, right? Anyway, so what I'm getting at is like AIs, they're going to create a boring and mediocre future on the internet. In fact, they've already created it, because most of the stuff that you are interacting with on the internet now is just total nonsense. Like, you're not talking to another person. You're talking to this like system that is like this self-propelling unconscious system that is kind of it's programmed itself, but it's also programming you with just like seeing the same kind of stuff over and over again, and it can be nudged in one direction or the other. So it's just kind of this like the internet is becoming like really the solipsistic place. At this point, no.
Well, is that really a bad thing? That most of the internet's being taken over by bots? Is that a bad thing? If so, why?
As I mentioned, like search engines are basically useless for trying to get any kind of information from at this point. So I find myself, there was a period of like the past 2 years or so where I basically didn't use search engines to look for questions. And I would like look, if I wanted to know like, oh, I don't know, what kind of oil do I need to change the oil on my car or something like that, I would end up just searching on YouTube, because even though that's something that could literally be answered by like one sentence of text, that sentence of text is impossible to find on these auto-generated sites. So I would search on YouTube for something like that. But the problem with that is twofold. Well, threefold, because one, YouTube videos are freaking long. Two, frankly, a lot of YouTube videos now, they're algorithmic content now. Like, a lot of them are auto-generated, more than you expect. You've probably seen, if you look for specific questions, a lot of times you'll get these.
It's even more rampant now. Just think about the percentages of that.
These like voiceover clips that, or they'll have like a robot voice or something, and with just like random pictures in the back. That's a common thing now. And I've actually even seen a couple channels that are just like people who look like me talking at a screen for a second, and then they go to some like PowerPoint looking thing that talks about something totally different that is like auto-generated, right? So it makes you think it's a real person doing it, but it's actually not, So what was I going to say? So like those are all kind of annoying. And of course, just in general, the other third reason is like getting information on YouTube is basically just annoying, not because of the AI, but just because like of YouTubers. Because here, every YouTuber, they have to, let's say you have one question you want to ask them, and they will do 3 minutes at the beginning of the video. Hey guys, welcome to the channel, blah, blah, blah. You all know it. Like, they can't just like, I don't know, if they have a single thing they want to say, they can't just say it. They have to like put like their sponsors all over the place. I mean, that's the annoying thing about it. So anyway, all of this is to voice my frustration with how difficult it is to find like simple information online. And, I've said before, like, I really think that artisanal sites are needed on the internet, and we also need to get away from like search engines and crap like that, because back before search engines, how people found information is on sites that were indexed with like indexed content, right? So
but is it the search engine just kind of like bringing all that together? I don't know.
They would have a bunch of different cooking sites or other informational. Oh, here's a site to tell you how to fix your car and stuff like that. There was no search engine involved, and all of these sites were maintained by individual people. And I think if the internet is, well, I don't necessarily expect this is going to happen. Like, it should happen on the internet now. But that's really the only way of getting out of this kind of like AI hell, where everything, you're never interacting with a person. It's all just like kind of nonsense. And you're just getting these random like bird entrail answers to everything you're doing. That I think is the inevitable future on the internet, unless like at least a small bit of us can carve out this little area where we can still be humans on the internet. And I think the scariest thing of all, right, is if AI becomes too good, right? And like some conspiracy people have talked about this, and conspiracy people basically they have 100% track record, so I'm going to trust them on this. But what's happening is the AIs are getting so good at like extrapolating. So let's like an AI trained against me, right? So it becomes very auto-generate a Luke Smith video, right? And then like you could have it video, or not just the text, but also like the video content. You could have it auto-generate that. Well, then you can start. This is the conspiracy theory point. Well, you could have like AIs that actually just replace real people. Like let's say, we ban some
Virtual influencers.
I don't know, someone who's based off of the internet, and then replace them with an AI that's like just giving like takes that sound like them, but they're kind of like lamer, or like they're kind of more mainstream. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. Like this, that's the thing that's worrisome. Like AI, if it ever becomes really good, which I definitely don't think it's really good now. I mean, it does like parlor tricks basically. But if it ever becomes really aggressive, that's definitely the kind of thing that it could do. So it's also something to think about. Like, is your behavior on the internet algorithmic? Like, is your behavior like something
Great points, man. I like this guy.
that could be easily reproduced by an AI? I don't know. That's something to, because I don't know. All right, so that's it. That's about all I got to say. It's actually cold today. I have nothing to say at the end of this video. Bye.
An alternative.
Now we'll go back to this. Brazil, due to its rapid digital economy, widespread mobile banking adoption, and high-level fraud, cyber criminals often exploit vulnerabilities in Brazil financial and e-commerce sector using bots for a credential stuffing and payment fraud. Additionally, Brazil's large population and high internet penetration make it a lucrative target for bot-driven cybercrime. Canada is a frequent target due to its strong banking sector, e-commerce growth, and digital. Bot attacks in Canada often involve fraud, scraping of sensitive data to countries close economic ties with the U.S., making it a prime target for cybersecurity. Canada, just come be the 51st state. Just do it. The country's close economic with the U.S. also make it a prime target for cyber criminals looking to exploit cross-border and share digital infrastructures. The top industries targeted by bot attacks. Travel has bypassed retail in 2024, accounting for more than a quarter of all bad bot attacks, 27%, to become the most targeted industry for bad bots. Bad bots targeting the retail sectors have dropped significantly from 24% in 2023 to 15% in 2024. Both the travel and retail sectors face an advanced bot problem, with bad bots making up 41 and 59% of their traffic, respectively. We will take a closer look into why bots are targeting these two industries later in the report. Education has replaced financial services as the third most targeted industry, with 11% of bad bot traffic targeting education sites. The education sector has a large percentage of simple bot attacks, 92%, yet is the third most targeted industry in 2024. This could indicate the bot attacks are being launched by less sophisticated actors with lower skill sets, possibly students with access to GPT tools. The percentage of bad bot traffic to financial services sites have dropped by almost 50%, from 16% to 8% since last year. So we got travel 26%, retail 15%, education 11%, financial services 8%, business, computing and IT 5%, healthcare 5%, law and government 5%, telecom and ISP 4%, gaming 3%, automotive, lifestyle I think it's 3%. I'm sorry. Automotive is 2, lifestyle 2, society 2, entertainment 2, gambling 2, sport maybe. The following chart provides a breakdown of good bots, bad bots, and human traffic to differentiate industries to different industries. In the chart, we can see ISP the highest percentage of bot traffic with 56%. Community and society is a close second with 52%, followed by computing and IT at 50%. But the entertainment portion, I wonder how much of that is from ChatGPT taking, copyright information from like New York Times, and then Universal and Disney going after a startup AI company for potentially infringing. Oh, entertainment has the most good actors, and humans are the green. And why they switch it up like that? So there's more human in marketing, in healthcare, financial services. Well, not really. Hang on. All right, I'll continue this tomorrow for you guys. I'm done.